Well, I would like to go through a few things today. It's a little bit of housekeeping before I get into the main message that I want to present today. One item is to thank genuinely and sincerely Sue Williams, who has been our interim organist these past months. She stepped up when we had a vacancy and helped us post-Christmas into Lent and Holy Week and Easter and the subsequent holidays and holy days afterward till this time. And so please join me in thanking Sue for helping us in our music ministry. She will be concluding on August 5th, that weekend prior to August 5th, the Monday, and Andre Rackus, who has been here 2 months ago with his family and helped us with one weekend, will be assuming that position full-time on August 5th. So please pray for a smooth transition for all of us concerned. And a huge thank you, too, for Anna Margaret for being our cantor today, and the beautiful gifts that God has shared you and you have shared with us. It's really remarkable, the gifts of God shared amongst the people of God, and we thank you and all those in ministry here at Precious Blood. Want to mention, too, that Deacon Mike Appel is a permanent deacon who will be arriving here in September with his wife, and they will be living with us full-time here in Pawleys Island in Precious Blood, and we will welcome them warmly, and he will assume his ministry with us as a permanent deacon. So please pray for him and his wife. Also, Deacon Michael Sellers is in the Holy Land, and he's praying for us, and let us pray for him. He'll be returning next weekend. And also, too, I want to mention the Stations of the Cross outside have been pretty much completed. There's a little bit left to do, but a huge thank you to Alex Mills, who is the Eagle Scout. This was his Eagle Scout project, and he's completed it with great professionalism and a generous heart. And we thank him and John Hipkins that has helped him, and the Scouts that helped him as well, along with Alex's parents. Please take some time to go visit the stations. They're located by our columbarium area. They are so beautiful. They're prayerfully placed. It's peaceful, and it's a beautiful meditation to walk the stations and to pray the stations. And each of the icons, the images, are so beautiful to behold. Finally, in our housekeeping, I'd like to mention that I'll be leaving for Nova Scotia today to visit my mom and my family for 12 days. So please pray for a safe journey, and I will pray for you as well. Father Pat is going to be in charge, and I asked him to not make too many changes while I'm away. Keep the paint color the same. No. Okay, so a little story. An old church building was in horrendous shape. It was in terrible shape. It needed so many repairs. So the preacher decided to get up and make a passionate appeal to his people, for his congregation, for some help. Well, during the sermon, the preacher often looked directly at the richest person in the congregation. And at the end of the preaching, the rich man stood up and said, "Preacher, I will contribute $1,000. Well, just after saying this, a small piece of plaster fell down from the ceiling right in front of the rich man's feet. He quickly stood up again and announced, "I will increase my donation to $5,000. Well, before he could sit down, a larger piece of plaster fell down on the man's shoulder. And he proclaimed, "Preacher, I will double my last pledge." So as he was finishing this, a larger piece of drywall came down directly on the rich man's head. And this time he shouted, "Preacher, I will give $20,000. Well, encouraged by all of these events, the deacon of the church shouted out, "Hit him again, Lord, hit him again." Well, brothers and sisters, today I want to talk to you about something very important. It's an important endeavor that is happening in our Diocese of Charleston, which encompasses 114 Catholic parishes and missions and embraces over 200,000 Catholics and souls. Well, in 2020, next year, we will be marking the 200th anniversary of the founding of our Diocese of Charleston. This was done by Bishop England, who arrived here from Ireland and made his see in Charleston. And in that time, the diocese consisted of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and the islands of the Bahamas. Well, we have come a long way since then, and in a desire to mark this historic occasion and this moment in time, our current bishop, Bishop Guglielmone, has called upon all Catholics in the diocese to participate in the bicentennial campaign. So what is the campaign? Well, basically, in a nutshell, it's an effort to reflect upon the needs of our Catholic people here in our local parish as well as in our diocese. Now, this past year we've been doing that. We set up a committee of parishioners from a broad spectrum of experiences, and we discerned and prayed about what are the needs of our local parish here at PBOC. What are the short-term needs, and what are the long-term needs of our parish? And we have developed a plan to address these needs here at Precious Blood. Well, our diocese as well went through a very similar process over the past year, and they discerned what are the needs of the diocese for our future success, to look at key programs such as outreach ministries to the poor, revitalizing Catholic schools, assisting poorer parishes, helping our elderly, aiding retired clergy, educating young seminarians, and energizing our evangelization efforts. There is a wonderful short video that can be accessed online by simply Googling Bicentennial Campaign. It's 8 minutes long, and it presents a wonderful picture of the goals of the diocese. Please take a few moments at home to watch it. So as I mentioned, every parish within the diocese will be asked to participate in the success of this campaign. Our campaign target is $850,000. And after reflecting upon our parish needs, we hope to enthusiastically exceed that target so that we can complete the projects that need to be done to make our faith community stronger and well-equipped for the next 25 years of our faith journey. For every dollar raised in the campaign, 50 cents is returned to the parish up to $850,000. And once we reach that goal, 75 cents of every dollar is returned to the parish. And finally, when we reach approximately $1 million, every dollar is returned to the parish for our use. Now, this will provide us with finances that we need to increase the storage capacity of Father Pat's Lunch Kitchen. It will allow us to install a new sprinkler system for our church. It will allow us to expand the narthex area, the gathering space of our church. And finally, it will enable us to remove this temporary wall where our stations are that was built in 1999 to expand the transept and to increase our seating capacity. Our first task will be to build Father Pat's lunch kitchen storage building. We need more space for the dry goods, the refrigerated goods, and the frozen goods that we receive. We need to be able to drive up to one building, unload the food from our generous local businesses that have donated it, weigh the food because we belong to a food bank system, and to store the food so that our drivers, our chefs, and our volunteers know exactly what we have and where it is and what we need to continue to offer the delicious meals that our guests receive with proficiency and with love. Second, we must install a sprinkler system for our church to provide a safe space for all who come here to pray. Only a few months ago, we all watched in horror as Notre Dame Basilica in Paris was burning. It was so surreal. And the quick collapse that resulted from the roof and the spire, which the flames engulfed with lightning speed. We are required by law to bring our beautiful church building up to code with a sprinkler system if we are to do any major renovations. And as our parish has grown dramatically from its humble beginnings, from a 4-door garage back in 1985 to this current space that was beautifully executed and inaugurated in 1999, we need to invest now in expanding our transept over here to provide space for our parish to continue to grow in the future. I'm not sure if you are aware, but over the past 2 years, our parish has been growing at a rate between 4 and 5% per year. And finally, and very importantly, we need to increase the size of our narthex to provide a space for events without disturbing those who are praying here in our nave. We need a place out there where bereaved families can gather before a funeral mass, where brides can meet with their attendants before a wedding mass, where our children, once dismissed from our 10:30 Mass, can gather to break open God's Word, and where our money counters can do their job more efficiently on Mondays here in our parish. We need a place as well where we can gather before and after Mass to celebrate faith and family and fellowship with coffee and donuts. So we desperately need an enlarged narthex. And to accomplish all of these important tasks, we have embraced a new goal of $1.1 million to fully fund these projects. Now, of course, they'll be done in order. There will be an execution priority. Number 1 is Father Pat's Lunch Kitchen storage building. That will be first. And I hope that we can build this building by Christmas of this year, please God. And over the coming years, as the money becomes available over the 5-year campaign, we would then like to tackle the sprinkler system, then the expansion of the narthex, and then the expansion of the transept in that order. I'm very pleased this morning to announce with you as we work towards our target, we have already raised $520,000 from our generous parishioners thus far. So we're halfway to our target, and that is very exciting. So I'm inviting every parishioner to participate and consider supporting this campaign over its 5-year period with your sacrificial pledge, a pledge that is given with God and with meditation before God to each person's own ability, which will allow us to reach and exceed our target. I would never ask you to do something that I was not willing to do, and I made sure that I was one of the first folks within our parish to participate in this campaign with my pledge, which will be given over 5 years. You need to know that every dollar raised goes to the Catholic Community Foundation. This is a separate legal entity, apart from the diocese itself, that has been established for the bicentennial campaign to handle every penny raised and every penny distributed. This Catholic Community Foundation is governed by a board of qualified Catholic laypeople from across the diocese and is totally protected from any potential lawsuits or legal issues. So in the coming weeks, I will continue to work hard with this campaign on a personal level, as well as I have been asking volunteers to help me speak with parishioners too. We will be reaching out to every parishioner through this effort. So please be patient as we will reach out to every person in the parish in due time. We hope to make this campaign as personal as possible, so every parishioner will be contacted and asked to participate. You will receive a personal visit or a letter and a phone call from a fellow parishioner. This way you will have an opportunity to ask questions and share your thoughts and insights as we move forward with this important initiative. So please warmly welcome these volunteers to speak with you and prayerfully consider what is confidentially being asked of you by Christ and His Church, and make your sacrificial pledge after some genuine time in prayer. Your pledge cards can be confidentially placed in a sealed envelope and returned to the volunteer or to the parish office by person. Please do not mail your pledge cards yourselves. I ask you to consider volunteering as well and working with me to make this campaign a success. Please be open to a volunteer's call and to their visit, as it is very important to me that each parishioner learn about this campaign in greater detail than I can offer today from this pulpit, and so that you can have the opportunity to ask questions and provide your insights and your thoughts. Please open up your hearts to the future vision of our growing parish. The only thing that I ask of you today is to begin praying for precious blood of Christ and the diocese and the success of the bicentennial campaign. May God bless each and every one of you in this exciting time for us all.